It's the start of another new week, and we are indeed glad to have you join us today. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. Today we'll be starting off with our newspapers, of course, just to let you know what we have, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But please do well to be part of what we do. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We're very honored to have today joining us from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America, Barrister Evans Ufeli, Barrister, Law, Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. All right, so let's kick start today with the first daily on our desk. It's a Daily Times newspaper. And on the bottom strip here, but just before that, the big story, Atiku commends an audit of $1.07 billion, cautions against 2025 budget malfeasance. And on the bottom strip here we have gunmen abduct Ohaneze Youth Council president and ZLP elect new national officer. But our talking point on the Daily Times newspaper, APC will take over Delta in 2027. Ned Nwoko. But Evans Ufeli is someone you truly know too well, and Nigerians were taken aback when he of course, cross-carpeted from the PDP to the APC, and now coming to say that APC might take over Delta State. What's your take on this issue?
I think that is his opinion as a politician. He moved to the APC, and ever since then he's been making comments to that effect. It is largely his opinion that he claims that APC is now the party that have direction, that can lead Nigeria to, so he jumped ship. Recently he's been making comments to the effect that the PDP does not have the right leadership in Delta State, and it is this intervention that is required. But you know, that is how the Nigerian politician is, since the consequences attached to cross-carpeting have not been really effected, okay, no one have been made a scapegoat to that effect, so they keep doing that. I mean, part of what he did is what happened in Rivers State. A political party, on the wings of a political party, you got to office, and then you turn around and move from that political party to another cross-carpet. The consequences have not been meted out to any of the lawmakers, both at the state level and at the federal level. It's not only him, even the daughter of Ibori recently defected too from the PDP to the APC. And there are rumors flying all over the place that even the executive in that state are planning to move to APC. So that is what we're hearing. But the sad thing and the worrisome thing about politicians moving from one political party to the other is not because of the people. It is never because of the people. It is because they have made new friends, okay, and they have devised newer and better ways to benefit themselves, to enrich themselves. That is when they move for. Every night you see them having meetings. You know, in the daytime they're having meetings, at nighttime they're having meetings. They are working so hard, not for the people. They are working so hard for themselves to keep impoverishing the nation, to keep impoverishing the people. And you see all their moves, calculations, expressions, opinions. None of them is drawn towards how do we develop our community, or how do we, ensure that our roads are good and there is electricity and life is bearable and the people have money and the businessmen among them have soft loans and the rest of that. It's never about that. It's about retaining and sustaining their political future for themselves and their families.
But if I might ask...
So if you listen to them too much, you'll be carried away.
Yes, I wanted to ask, he is the senator representing your constituency. And my question is, if you rate him, what do you think... Yes, do you think he has done awesomely well for the constituency?
He has not done anything.
Really?
He keeps pushing lopsided bills. He keeps sponsoring and pushing lopsided bills. acting elitist. You know, he's the one that pushed the bill for Nigerians to bear arms. What benefit does that bring to Delta North? I mean, my constituency. Now, he's pushing for a bill for Delta State to be added to the Southeast, and for Anioma State to be created and added to the Southeast. So that what will happen? So that it will water the constitution and the draw data that is across the Niger order. So his bills are usually extreme bills that have no bearing on proper development, that are not even well thought out. His bills are even bills that he himself does not understand. Okay? So I do not see him as a proper representation of the Delta North constituency at the Senate. I don't see him that. I don't see him as that. So I mean, if he's going to see this video, definitely somebody will copy and send to him so that they can fan the embers of enmity between I and him more. But it is my opinion and it's sacred. That's what I think about him. Not just him. Many of the politicians across. It is not about it. If they are jumping ship or they are, you know, all this, they are clandestine, surreptitious movement from one point to the other, meetings. If it's to benefit the people, we'll have no quarrels with all this. But as long as it's self-serving, okay, it's just to, you know, make themselves bigger and more powerful and all that. I'm not impressed. I cannot. So what should I do? I should start to jump on the street because he moved from one political party to the other. What significance is that to the grassroots man of Delta State, who is, you know, trapped in poverty, who have a lot of, you know, in that interview where he made that statement, he was talking about the kind of revenue and allocation we get from the federal government from 13% derivation and the IGR. He was talking about the humongous billions, stating that no state in Nigeria gets that kind of money. But if you go to the other state, the poverty there is unbearable. He was saying all that. As though if he were a governor, he would do different. It's true, but if he were the governor, will he do they do the same thing? With all the resources, you will see visible and mind-boggling poverty across the stratosphere. As I'm talking to you now, the only road that leads to my village, the contract has been abandoned. Okay, I took Okowa to court before that road was initiated. I filed a case against him and for many projects. On the strength of that case, they went to my village and started working day and night, acting like they were going to do the road proper. Now the road was laid out, the very bad drainage was dug, and the moment they grade through it, they didn't put the asphalt, they abandoned it, and now it's impassable. The villagers are trapped in very deep confusion. They should have left the road the way it was before. It was passable, but they came there, spoiled it. The contractor ran away. I've been looking for the contractor to file a case against him or to arrest him and put him in some situation that will cost the federal government the state government to come and fix that road.
Yes, of course. There's no gainsaying that he is a very big stakeholder in Delta State, and moving to the APC, there's the fear that what happened in Edo might likely happen in Delta State. I do not know how that is possible, but let's see how that goes. Quickly, let's go to the Guardian newspaper for today, and the talking point here: 107 days of blackout. Patients, caregivers desert UCH. Word as health services decline. Barrister Ufeli, speak to us on this issue with reference to what the Vice President Shetima had said, that Americans are coming to Nigeria for healthcare services, and just behind him we have UCH still in darkness for 107 days.
Is it that important that Americans are coming to have medical care in Nigeria? Is false. Really false from the pit of hell. There's no such a thing that Americans are leaving America to come and even when our hospitals were okay, even in the 80s, 70s, pre-80s, when some African leaders came to seek medical care in Nigeria, the Americans were not coming for any medical care. They were not. They were not. You know, I don't know where they got that news from. They just manufactured it and threw it out to the space there. They know that you don't have a proper medical insurance. You don't have medical facility. You've not built any. So why are you craving for? Why are you in your dreams? Okay? Why are you in your dreams? You are the only one that is aware that Americans are coming here to seek care. Look at the UCH and all that. Okay? The basic of the hospital cannot run without electricity. There are a lot of equipment that requires power.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have electricity, which is basic. Okay, and then you're talking about the fact that people are coming from other countries. You mentioned America to will just open mouth because it's democracy. You can just talk anyhow you like. So it's not true.
Came for transplant, for kidney transplant, about 13 of them.
You should give us the hospital, the name of the hospital. I know that there are places where transplant is done in Nigeria. Very good hospitals where are those hospitals government hospitals, or were they facilitated by the government in power or the one before it, and the rest of that? So Nigeria is not completely condemned. It's not completely a bad country as it were. But these persons who are making this expression, what they do, they abandon their own responsibility and they go about scouting for anybody or institution that have made mark. You see how they look for people who play footballers, athletes that have distinguished themselves. They go and say that they is Nigerian product, that they are Nigerian products. Meanwhile, they will not do what is required of them to push to instigate people to clinch onto their potentials. They will not do it. Then they will go about scouting for maybe there's one or two hospitals where relative came down because of cost or something.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, if you are dealing with the dollar, you are dealing with the naira. Definitely, if you have dollars, you have edge over those who are dealing with the naira and all that. Possibly, we have one or two cases where that has happened. I'm not ruling that out completely. But does that engender good governance? Does that transmit to the fact that government have now fixed the healthcare? How could they have fixed the healthcare system without us knowing? We're in the news every day analyzing the subject called Nigeria. So even if it has happened, it does not in any way mean that Nigeria is now fixed. For you to now use that as an advertorial of a failing government, to now tell the world that, okay, now Nigeria is... I don't think these kind of expressions are right. Our leaders misprioritize things. It should not even go there at all. It should only go there when the government have taken a decision on healthcare system and have built formidable and consistent, sustainable healthcare system before you begin to go to town and with the bells and the rest of that.
Yes, I'm not trying, and we're of course not trying to hold brief for the federal government on this particular issue on inefficiency and deficit in maintaining our hospitals, but I would love you to maybe judge this matter. The issue at UCH is the fact that they've not paid bills for a very long time. There are bills for a very long time, and it has grown to 3 billion naira, which is the reason Ibadan Disco actually disconnected them. Now, do you think it's worth the salt to let that be what it is, or for the federal government to intervene while prosecuting those that are responsible for not being able to pay that bill for that long?
If they have not paid bills for so long, okay, they ought not to be disconnected. There's what they call essential service. The medicals fall under essential service. Okay, so that they are owing. You can get the federal government to intervene without actually cutting them off. Okay, you can actually get them to commit to that payment without actually cutting them off. I know that an attempt must have been made to have them pay and they did not.
Yes.
So to bring them into disrepute and to bring them into the news, they have to disconnect. But such disconnection should not be permanent until they pay. Okay? There should be mediation. The federal government, the Minister for Health, and the Commissioner for Health of that state will need to have meetings and involve the Senate Committee on Public Health Care, okay, to see how they can facilitate that, because it's one of our national treasury. You know, that place have been a source of succor to so many families, medically speaking. Okay, from time immemorial, it's been a long time that place has been up and running. So we should not denigrate on our public facility, much so because we don't have much of them. We don't have many of them. The little ones we have should not be shut down because of lack of payment of electricity and the rest of that. And those who run these facilities should know that power is critical, both for the provider and the user. Okay? They cannot say the place is not generating money. There's corruption somewhere in between the system. Someone somewhere is doing something wrong. And that's why everybody is suffering for it. So we must come to the point where we investigate rightly. Because someone is doing something wrong doesn't mean that the entire public should suffer from that, malfeasance. They should give some room for those who, use that facility to continue to use it. And if there's any problem, those problems can be addressed without necessarily, creating a situation that will affect those who use that facility.
All right, beautiful.
I think that's the way to go.
Yes, very well. Just before we let you go, in 60 seconds, if you may, that's made page 7 of the same newspaper. Why some leaders suffer withdrawal syndrome after leaving office by Fire Me. We know that this is one man that knows how to speak so very well. When it comes to his ability to communicate, he is able to manipulate that so very well. Coming out to say that some leaders suffer withdrawal syndrome after leaving office. Is he trying to justify that he is off the radar and his ability to still communicate and motivate people should be the way to go for his colleagues that are no longer with the government?
The Fire Me are talking about has never been a good leader. It's not enough to be talking. He talks and all that. But you can see the airport he built in Ekiti State. She already said that airport, even as a fly, cannot land there. He did a lot of white elephant projects in his first term and his second term. He was one that was accused of buying a bed for how many billion bed for the government and the rest of that. So he has never been a deliverer. Okay, he speaks and keeps speaking and speak and speak and speak. He said these leaders suffer withdrawal syndrome. These leaders is referring to what are their pedigrees, what is their legacy. Okay, he keeps referring to leader. This is the same man who led the governors forum to file a case against local government autonomy. Okay, this same person that is saying this thing, because in Nigeria, everybody get away with everything. If it were to be some countries, they will not make this kind of statement because they will not be giving room anywhere in the entire country to become anything thereafter. Now he's scheming his way to becoming the Nigerian High Commissioner or diplomat to the United States. That's what he's scheming. That does not work. They have now made him an emergency activist. Recently joining forces with Ufeli and Rotimi Amechi to vilify the APC. They're vilifying the APC because they did not get appointment. That is just what it is. That is what it is. And Amechi contested, okay, he's out of that. But the other was Ufeli and the other one. It's just because of appointment they did not get. All of a sudden, APC is no longer good. Just because they're out of government. For just 1 year. Okay, so this kind of people, now they are calling town hall meeting, inviting Nigerians, and Nigerians are turning out, going there. They're not speaking the same language. What they are saying is different from what those who are following them think they are saying. The moment Tinubu appoints any of them, you will never see that movement again. The movement will take a different shape. The people will be abandoned. and they will go for that assignment. And anytime they are relieved of their duty and there's nothing tangible they are doing, they start to congregate again to verify the government in power. So this strategy is an old strategy. It's an old format that we know how these things work. Okay, it's not the people that they are fighting for. They are fighting because they are out of radar. That's why it's talking about withdrawal syndrome, talking about all this expression that shows that you are no longer relevant in the scheme of things. That is what he's talking about. There's nothing that is people driven. Which program now has he developed since he left office that will help the people? He read the war strategy. Which program has he devised now? What is his contribution to the war against insurgency and the rest of that? So, I mean, these people are not ready to lead anybody to anywhere.
Well, that is Nigeria for us, and we hope that things become better than the way they are. And that's when we return. Just to let you know, Barrister Ufeli will be here to take us on our main conversation. Detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu rejects call for pardon, demands release in line with court order. It's still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.